Hi everyone, it's pretty late here and I'm having a hard time falling asleep. I try to relax, count sheep, do all the things that people tell me to do, but some nights I just lie awake thinking about all the questions I have and all the answers I hope to find someday. Does this ever happen to you? Sometimes I get up and make a list of the different things I'm wondering about, like, why does science fiction writing always seem so concerned about technology? What inspires people to speak up when they know something is wrong versus staying put and staying quiet? What are ways that humans are different from monkeys? How does my favorite online store get packages to me in just 2 days? What I need is the space to ask these questions and to get some answers. What I need is to understand how and why and where and when and how. What I need is research writing. Today we will talk about what research is and how to avoid bias in your research. Actually, how to avoid using research incorrectly to confirm what you already think, instead of using it to gain new understandings. This is called confirmation bias, and we'll talk about it more in a bit. First, what is research writing? Research writing is any writing that requires an author to gather new information about a subject and to use that information in their writing. A scientist preparing an article about how dolphins communicate uses research, and so does a restaurant critic who's working on a piece about the 10 best places to get tacos in the city. A historian writing a biography about author and activist James Baldwin needs to do research about Baldwin's life or writing. Even someone working on a historical fiction novel about 1960s England would need to do research on all kinds of things: how people lived, spoke, traveled, thought, to make their work seem authentic, despite it being fictional. Is there any kind of writing that doesn't require research? You might not need to use research in your writing if you're journaling, texting with a friend, or describing something you personally have seen or felt. Otherwise, you're probably going to want to do at least a little research to help support your writing and understanding. Why? Often, when we're not seeking out new information, new ways to understand our world and our lives within it, we can think we know much more than we do. But really, we are all so limited by our own experiences, points of views, biases. Education is about expanding our views by seeking out new information and using that information to guide new ways of looking, seeing, and thinking about the world. For example, let's say I have a terrible time on a camping trip to the woods. The bugs, the dirt, the weird noises in the dark. I decide that camping is just not for me. But a little research might reveal that a warmer sleeping bag, stronger bug spray, and maybe even better company would improve my experience. So I'd be better equipped to try camping again and maybe come to a different conclusion about whether it's something I'm into. That's why we research, to come to new understandings. It's important to be able to change your mind about a topic based on new information, as long as that information is coming from reliable sources. We'll talk more about what kinds of sources contain reliable information in the research writing unit of this course. Sometimes people start researching or looking up information once they have already made up their minds about a topic. Then they use the information that favors their opinion to strengthen it or to help it grow stronger roots. This is called confirmation bias, and it's a misuse of research to confirm what you already believe. What bias or preconceived belief you want confirmed by research. We live in a time when we are inundated by information, so you can really use the internet to confirm any idea at all. Think about how we use online searches. Let's say I'm obsessed with my dog, just like hypothetically. Say I believe that my dog will one day talk to me and tell me how he feels about me too. So I search, "My dog spoke to me." And guess what comes up? A zillion articles about people who confirm my bias with their own accounts, unfounded and unreliable, about how their dog spoke to them. This is why it's so important that we learn not only what sources to use for our research, but how to formulate research questions that will lead us to reliable answers and new ways to think about and understand the world. In day 2 of this lesson, you'll analyze how different pieces of writing have used research to strengthen their arguments. Then, on day 3, you'll learn how to write strong research questions on a variety of topics and come up with your own. Once this video is over, turn to your PDF and answer the reflection questions. Learning how to ask questions, to find answers, and to change your thinking based on what you find, that's what it means to be a lifelong learner. And we're right here with you in your endless pursuit of knowledge. Right on.